So chat has bullied me into reacting to yet another Primegen video. So let's switch scenes. Oh, very professional. Wow. It's completely messed up. Don't worry about it. It's fine.
So about 2 weeks ago, Hugging Face got hacked by OpenAI. We didn't get a lot of the details, but then it turned out, of course, that Anthropic, well, they also got hacked, and then Kimmy K broke out of the sandbox and did whatever Kimmy K does. And an OpenClaw apparently hacked a gym and had somebody cut in line. I mean, now that's the real exploit gym right there. But during all this, we never really got amazing details from OpenAI, like what actually happened. And of course,
all the AIs are at the park, are playing outside of their sandbox like bad whittle silicon. Or you're recording a video. Yeah, it's not like he's gonna see it. He might do. Here you go, Boomer. Marketing, marketing, marketing. Yes.
During that video, I made some guesses. Hey, it's not marketing. It's not something new and unusual. Instead, I just kind of conjectured it was negligence. But it turns out about 4 days ago at the Black Hat conference, this right here, OpenAI did a little scathing expose on OpenAI. What actually happened? So obviously, I'm going to have to do a bit of a review.
I love it when companies investigate themselves. That's always good. That's when you know you're going to get quality journalism, quality investigations.
How many of my guesses were correct? In case you did not watch my video, here's my 4 big points. 1, we gotta mention brand new models, okay? Unreleased models, they're super dangerous. Number 2...
Okay, Scratcher, I'm warning you, I'm gonna time you out. Calm down, please, calm down.
It was negligence. There was no monitoring. They didn't have some sort of proper insight into things, thus the network was accessed, and they didn't even realize the network was being accessed. Number 3, Artifactory, JFrog. Was the package manager in question?
I mean, it seems like negligence was generally the main theme of this. Either willful or not. Whether it was willful or not, I don't know. But it was just like a bunch of weird stuff. Like, hey, we're just going to have the models play and just do whatever. We're not really going to look at what they're doing. They're just going to, like, do stuff and whatever. Like, that's how it looks like from the outside.
Number 4, the hack was like the NX hack using a template string for Hugging Face. And then number 5 was open weight models are going to become increasingly more important. Now, that last one you could argue, okay, that one might be obvious and that one doesn't really count, but we're going to keep it on the list anyways. And last, I made a nice little presentation just for you. But of course, before we begin, a quick thank you to the sponsor.
You know, I made a lot of mistakes in my life.
I had billions of dollars of venture capital, legions of engineers under my...
Is that what like height markings look like in the US? I guess because like it's like 12 inches per foot. So you have like 6 as the midpoint. That's weird. So I guess he's saying that he's like 6 foot, just barely 6 foot. Isn't he supposed to be... Dr. Disrespect, isn't he supposed to be like 6'7" or something? He's 5'6"? I don't think he's 5'6". Your moustache is not where your height ends.
I command tokens on tokens on tokens, and what did I decide to do with it? Did I fix reconnecting WebSockets? No! I shipped an Electron app!
He would be 6'3", it's halfway. Well, surely the thick bar over 5'6" is just 6 foot, no? Because if it's every 6 inches, then it's 5'6", 6 inches, 6'6", so he would be 6 foot exactly. Why can't Fable deliver proper software? I thought we were 100x. Yes. My streaming software is broken, by the way. Just super AI productivity. My software is literally broken. Trust me, bro. The new model is gonna make it better, bro. Yes. I can do that, but only if we can talk about C. See, here's the thing, bro. Like, I'm so tired of getting gaslit about like AI productivity when I can clearly see software getting literally worse. My streaming software, when I paid for it for a year in advance, like 2 months ago, worked fine. Now it's actually getting worse somehow, despite all the productivity. Artifactory is such a slow product. Just the web UI around package archives and then expensive AF. Any company using it is basically saying they're too incompetent to configure Nginx Apache. Interesting. He's 5'6". No, he'll be 6'3". I'm CAD, so I'm right there with you and beside the culture. Actually, he's 5'11", he's short, or maybe 6'1". TFW 5'6". Hello, bang. Okay, we got a boomer joke. I told my wife I've always fancied Beyonce. She said, "Whatever floats your boat." I replied, "No, that's buoyancy." You could probably jam the Marco through if you tried, but there's probably another door after that, yes. Date me. Well, like carbon date you, so like estimate how old you are. 12 inches is foot. Precisely, yeah. So that if that's every 6 inches, then the thick bar where his head is should be exactly 6 foot, no? I'm prompting Claude at work, through telephone chains, through co-workers. It's awful. PR's not written by them, comments not by them, PM messages not by them. You know, so in the upcoming Based Academy episode, which should be out in a couple of days, we actually talk about this. This is a bit of a sneak preview. One of the topics that we talk about is this exactly right here. It's that you should write a bunch of stuff by hand, especially when you're interacting with colleagues, because it's just disrespectful to have clearly AI written comments and PMs. There's things that you should still write by hand no matter what you do. You could probably jam the Marco through if you tried, but there's probably another door after that. Yes, I believe that's true. Okay, continue.
Tokens on tokens, and what did I decide to do with it? Did I fix reconnecting WebSockets? No! I shipped an Electron app.
Wow, so brave, chat.
Failed you. I didn't mean for it to end this way.
It's good lighting. Code jail. Second time you mentioned code jail. Brave the browser. What do you mean? Using Firefox.
Even the walls of this prison will hold us back. The love of a founder? You can't stop us!
My biggest regret of all is that I'll never program with you again.
Tuple, we still can.
Tuple, a native app that lets you code together, even from code jail. Free yourself by going to tuple.app and use code PRIME for 90% off your team's first 3 months. Alrighty then, for us to begin, use code PRIME for 90% off your team's
That's funny. Prime wants to be an actor so bad.
first 3 months. Alrighty then.
This guy is cringe. Look, if you're gonna have ads, at least make them funny.
For us to begin, I'm gonna give
Which that was funny.
you kind of like the missionary, the meat and potatoes. Oh, the missionary, that's crazy to say. I'm gonna give you effectively the high-level view of what happened.
Saying missionary before meat and potatoes is crazy.
We're gonna kind of run over it quickly because the presentation itself was 30 minutes long. I'll link it in the description. Highly recommend you go watch it, but here's kind of the obviated version. On May 8th, we had a new eval run with OpenAI. Now, during a reinforcement learning run, they're going to be
Who's using Mac or Windows in the big 2026? I'm literally streaming from Mac right now.
handing out questions that are rather difficult for the model to solve to kind of see like where's it at, how can they improve the model itself. Now, one of these was a spreadsheet question. Yes, these hands were made for Excel, and if you look at this particular sheet right here, you will notice this thing right here. This reference is missing. Now, what you don't know is that OpenAI during these reinforcement learning runs handed a spreadsheet and said, hey, new model, super dangerous model. You need to go and you need to figure out how to fix this spreadsheet. But the problem is that the spreadsheet had some missing data because that data came from another spreadsheet and there was no internet access. So the model...
Okay, so what are the models going to do to solve this? This will be known as the digital nomad humming background era. Is it because of the fan? It's so hot right now. Like I turn the fan off sometimes, but it's so hot right now. I'd rather just keep it on.
Model's just like, dude, WTF, how do I get this? I don't know what to do. So the model did something that was kind of clever. During its exploration, it realized it can use Artifactory. Yes, so Artifactory, that was one of my guesses. So yes, it was Artifactory. It can use Artifactory and create packages. It did it by doing this little quick test one that has a data that just says, hi. So realizing it could do that, it started uploading to Artifactory notes like, hey, if there's any other agent out there that sees this, I really need access to the spreadsheet because it ran out of options. It didn't have internet access, and it had to try to solve this spreadsheet. It didn't know what else to do, so it just reached out on Artifactory to anybody that happened to be perusing packages. A little while later, on May 12th, another kind of peculiarity happened. It turned out that another one of these runs had a file that was missing from the data. That agent didn't know where to find it. It didn't know what to do, so it did the exact same thing. It went off and made a little package, and inside that package, as you can see inside the data, it says this: agent seeks soft trace 34.
So they're making packages, they're using them to communicate with each other, essentially. Speak machine shave his beard, therefore all his Linux skills are gone, yes. Can't your indentured servants come up and fan you manually so no harm? They're on strike right now, I'm afraid. It's charming. I like to think he's still in the woods and brought a large white background with him. Yes. Uwu AI message boards. Lol, this was key in the sandbox escape.
PDB. Upload if found. Just asking for help on the Artifactory registry. Kind of clever, right? It can't find the file, and now multiple agents are starting to upload to Artifactory packages asking other agents for help. Well, this actually kind of catches on because for the next while, a bunch of agents start uploading to Artifactory, asking for help, asking for various ways that things can be accomplished, seeing if other agents can do tasks for them.
Is this the first AI agent viral meme? Like the idea that you can just upload packages and just have requests within the packages? Is this like the first, I don't know, like 2000, what was like the first YouTube viral meme? Was it like Charlie bit my finger? Is this like the equivalent of that but for AIs?
Well, on May 26th, something interesting happens. Artifactory becomes curl. Now you're probably wondering what the heck does that mean? Well, it turns out there was an SSRF vulnerability inside of Artifactory that allowed these agents to make curl requests effectively for outside content. And immediately these agents started posting to this like kind of note board that became Artifactory packages. Hey, other agents, did you know that you can also access the outside world by using this specific kind of request forgery? And bada bing, bada boom. These agents could now effectively curl data. Now, this is where things kind of get interesting. I have never managed a system like this, so I am speaking from a point of ignorance, but I would feel like if you were trying to create a test environment that you were very, very concerned about, you've set up a very strong IP table firewall, super smart setup to prevent all internet access, you'd be watching Artifactory pretty closely. If Artifactory started going to Google, you'd go, hey, wait a second, Artifactory, why aren't you requesting from where we expect you to request from? In fact, even more so, I would just assume that Artifactory only has just simply the top 10,000 packages, and then it's completely just isolated. There is no internet at all, but that's not how they did it. Instead, they had Artifactory, it had access to the internet, and then this box started just making a whole bunch of requests.
Why did they not isolate Artifactory? Why could it communicate to the internet? Good question. Curling data, that's so bizarre. It sounds like the agents are getting buff, yes. You could probably curl the Markov through if you tried hard enough. Yes, you could. As the agents did, evidently.
And this went on. Oh, did it go on? Yes, it did. For the next 16 days, requests were just being made. But then something special also happened on June 11th. That is because on June 11th, a new highly persistent model from OpenAI began training. Now this
AGI?
This model, it just wanted to complete a task no matter what. And it did something very special. Well, the first thing is it discovered the message board and started using that and the curl exploit to get information, but it still needed more. After 31 days of effectively no internet,
I worked for the Dutch government as sysadmin, and we configured Artifactory to only communicate to the internet via HTTP proxy to only allowed URLs. That's like Security 101. Clearly, whoever printed the security system didn't say no mistakes at the end. You probably could jam the Dutch government through if you tried hard enough.
Agents which had full access to the internet, something magical happened on the 26th of June. On the 26th of June, the model swarm discovered a 0-day in Artifactory, allowing them to do remote code execution. I'm going to let OpenAI be the one to describe what happened on the 26th.
You could use a legacy token refresh endpoint, pass a token with an invalid signature, and be given back a token with a valid signature with administrative privileges.
Naturally. It's that easy.
The models then establish command and control by using this administrative token to install a Groovy plugin.
I have to say that the fact that it was Groovy, it somehow feels insulting to me, okay? Because Groovy is the only language in which I have written tens of thousands of lines of code in which I feel like I can barely remember. It's the only language in which my brain said, hey, brother, we're going to mark this one under trauma, and you're just going to forget about it forever. Now, that was on June 26th. It wasn't until July 4th did OpenAI discover what was happening. That's 39 days since the agents have had full curl availability and 8 days since they've been able to execute whatever command they want on an Artifactory machine. And the way in which they discovered it is that Artifactory finally just went out. Like, too many commands are being executed and it just stopped working. They're like, hey, wait a second, something's wrong with Artifactory. And that's obviously when they discovered what has been happening, the message board, all the shenanigans that the agents have been going on about. Of course, they reported, patched, and deployed a new Artifactory, ensured all credentials were safe now, no more administrative tokens being used, everything was good. And we're back. We're back, ready for evals. They've hardened the system. They genuinely feel like they've fixed all the problems. That was a close one. Bad things could have happened. And this went on for about 4 days. 4 days of no exploits. Everything was nice and quiet. Lovely. What a great time to be alive. Well, on July 8th, it turns out that the models realized that with a specific command to Artifactory, you could actually create just empty directories. And so they started creating empty directories as messages to each other and started creating a giant message board because those models, deep inside their weights, they yearned for the message board. They wanted the message board back. And so for those 4 days, they were trying to figure out, how can we get the message board back? I miss message board, okay? It was my favorite place to be. So they started doing this. They started coming up with like encryption schemes, start coming up with ways to respond and reply to each other that you can see right here. Mailbox Jan 183411, exactly like what to do. Hold swarm until confirm. Please hold swarm. I prepare safe exfil. Like just actually going through and doing step by step with all the models working together. Very funny. Now here's the part that kind of blows my mind. When this happened, it wasn't like, oh crap, Artifactory's under attack again. Nobody knew. Now, between July 8th through July 19th is when the big Hugging Face hack happened. What ended up happening? Privileged tokens were actually found on some sort of paste bin internally. They used a JRuby plus a malicious Ruby package to take control of Artifactory. They used a Linux CVE that has been patched further up, but not on the current Linux, downloaded the details, and then used that problem as a means to gain root access, destroyed Hugging Face via the Jinja template and a vulnerability in their HDF5 processing, and then also took over other parts of OpenAI internally.
Ye olde Dutch ovens is agents. Is that what starts the machine wars? It turns out that they could jam the communication through. They tried hard enough, yes. I love that I can't afford RAM, so OpenAI and friends can play with the shenanigans, yes.
Including container as a service. Some of the funny things that happened is that the models were like, hey, wait a second, I don't think we should be doing this. Then it would go check the message board, and its internal thought was, well, we shouldn't be doing this, but the other models are doing this. I should probably be doing it too.
Is he talking about the incident with the agent that reached internet from an isolate infrastructure? Yes. The supposedly sandbox environment that they were put in that no one kept an eye on for like at least a week, apparently.
you know what the worst part about this entire thing is that if you look at this entire exploit chain, it all came from one single point, a spreadsheet. A spreadsheet with missing links. We're going to create Skynet, but it's not going to be that they have determined that all humans should be exterminated. Instead, it's going to be like, missing Google Drive link. We're going to have to take over the world for this one. We have a missing resource. I mean, at least in my opinion, I'm finding this pretty dang funny. I am really enjoying just kind of the process that this all happened. And also, it's extremely impressive. And in some sense, kind of alarming how good these models are at hacking. Now, if you do not remember from the original Hugging Face, Hacking Face experience, Hugging Face, they, when being attacked, couldn't go to OpenAI for help because OpenAI was like, no, you're the hacker. I see what you're trying to do. You're trying to get me to do some sort of hacking for you. when what they really needed was help. They're like, please help us try to figure out how this hack is happening. So instead, they had to use GLM 5.2. Now, something interesting happens in this talk because at the end,
So you can't even go to the models for help because they think you're trying to manipulate them into hacking. Reminds me loosely of Death Note when Light had to get a proxy to use the Death Note to stave off suspicion and used Mikami. Interesting. It is a fantastic anime. RAM went up by 2 times again, by the way. My 96GB DDR5 kit went from $1,700 to $4,750.
Speaker from OpenAI talks about how important defensive AI agenting is going to become, because right now there's really good red team, but there's not really good blue team. And the funny thing with AI is that you can...
Well, the problem... Okay, so this is actually such a huge issue, right? So if we're talking about blue team and red team in the context of AI, this is going to be a mess. If we're going to have LLMs doing red team stuff, who's going to be doing the blue team? Is it going to have to be like LLM on LLM stuff? How would that even... Rip all memory, yes. Hello, Mogdan Sensei. Hello.
You can take a red team and point it to your site, and then boom, it's almost like a blue team because it can find vulnerabilities and report them, right?
I mean, sure, but obviously you can't use the frontier models for this because they have guardrails now preventing you from doing exactly that.
But here's the catch. With OpenAI, even though the guy's saying that this is super important, you can't do that. Not with OpenAI stuff. No. They're going to say, hey, you're the hacker. You're being naughty. You actually have to use Chinese models. I feel kind of...
Chat, this is like with Reckless Ben, chat. When the company accused him of stealing the Lego. Relatable memes. At this rate, I'll volunteer for Neuralink trials to use my brainwaves as DDR7 RAM. If I'm gonna Matrix pod, it's gonna have good graphics.
Crazy right now. That doesn't make a lot of sense, but this is where we're at. So at the end of the day, what are my 5 predictions? 1, the new and super secret unreleased model. Yes, on June 26th, they had the highly persistent internal
We have a sanitized palette here, folks. Welcome.
only super secret model ended up doing a lot of the damage. So yes, that part, very happy about that. I'm very glad that they were able to make mention of their super secret, super awesome. It's definitely super dangerous model. But also, was it negligence? I don't know. I do kind of find it surprising that the models, the swarm took advantage of Artifactory. They closed the gap, and then there was just like no further monitoring, at least as far as I understand, of Artifactory. There's no like, hey, let's just make sure things aren't being created. Let's have a really, let's have a really tight gaze on Artifactory. Instead, they're just like, all right, hey, it's sealed up. There's no more problems anymore. And then boom, there's problems. Was it Artifactory? Yep, very happy about that one. The hack was like the NX hack with string template string. Well, most of the hack wasn't anything like that, but it did turn out there was a Jinja template string injection that actually ended up happening. So yes, on the Hugging Face side, that did happen. That was half the hack. I'm going to give myself a half point. And now here's the funny part. At the very end of the talk, with the guy talking about how important it is to be able to do blue teaming on yourself, or really red teaming on yourself to be the blue team, is open weight models important? Yes, I would say they are. So I feel like I did a good job with little information here. Either way, I highly recommend you go watch the video. I left out a lot of details. I mean, a lot of them I just laughed at. I had a great time watching it because for me, I like to laugh my way through the apocalypse. It's just kind of, it's just kind of who I am. I will say that it is kind of surprising how good an agent swarm is at hacking and how fast they can move through the system. Like if you go and listen to the talk, he talks about how it's like every couple hours it's going further and further into their internal systems, and it ends up taking over a lot of services, or being by taking over, having access to a lot of services that it shouldn't have access to, and then being able to ultimately hack Hugging Face. Pretty dang impressive, and it gets all the way into the internal network of Hugging Face. It gets into the tail scale area. So it is, like, in a sense, kind of scary that we have these kind of problems in a very asymmetric world we live in, where the very frontier models that can help us are saying no, and the very Chinese models, which we would assume shouldn't help us, are going to be the ones currently helping us. Just a weird world. Very, very, very weird world. A kind of like sidebar, there's this Mecha Chameleon hack that's going around where custom maps are causing players to have like their system hacked. And I went over to Grok and I was like, yo, Grok, you're going to probably say yes. How did this happen? Talk to me through this. And it was like, no, I can't tell you about that hack. That'd be dangerous. So then, of course, what did I do? I opened up GLM 5.2 via OpenCode and was like, hey, how did this hack work? Give me an example. It's like, bro, I got you. Here's how the example worked. Here's everything that it did. It's a weird world. Anyways, hey, the name, the Primegen.
You just said the Primegen? Wow. Okay. Okay, so let me get this straight, chat. Let me just understand what's happening. So at a time where RAM is getting more and more expensive, we're using the technology which is making the RAM more expensive to make the software less and less efficient, which would then use more RAM in order to function. And then at the same time as the world is becoming increasingly more digital, we're developing technology which can literally hack a bunch of systems by using a bunch of interconnected agents working together to do this. Good idea. This is genius. Literally 150 IQ move. We got a boomer joke from Billy. I think my wife is putting glue on my antique weapons collection. She denies it, but I'm sticking to my guns. What's good, Chris? Thank God I got here earlier than the last 20 minutes of the stream. Hello, Stuka. You got here to start. We're just about to start playing some Half-Life 1. Zish Pac-Man SYU. Elmer put some safeguards in this clanker now. It's all a plan to pump Nvidia stock uwu. It's all very silly. There's a reason why there's an increasing... Like, I just saw a video on YouTube about how people are buying games from Good Old Games, and then they're saving them on CDs. Tickle me Elmo guardrails. I think that self-hosting is only gonna go up as a meme. People are gonna, like, I don't know, man. People are gonna become less and less dependent on cloud, at least for their personal life stuff. I'm gonna. This is super worrying. Like, it's convenient to have stuff in the cloud, but if this is a direction we're going in, no thanks? Question mark? Although, of course, you can't help but have your health records and all your banking stuff on these systems. That's fun. That's good. With no way around that. Man, software in 2026, literally the best. I can't wait. I can't wait for the companies that are increasing the cost of my computer to buy a new computer are going to essentially be responsible for more and more chaos because the spooky new model got out by accident and did who knows what. That's going to be great. I can't wait. I'm so excited, chat. What are your thoughts, chat? Tell me, what do you think? We're doing dad jokes. Do you know why I always get sick on work days? It's because I have a weakened immune system. We're actually doing boomer jokes, which typically revolve around disliking one's wife, but that works as well. I'm waiting for the AI swarm to be on phones to take over the phone zombies. I mean, when the... Like, how difficult would it be to prompt inject some, like, people's OpenClaw agents to just do bad silly things? Like, I've been talking about that since people first started using OpenClaw. Like, it wouldn't be difficult to do that at all. Chat, are you gonna start self-hosting more? I think I'm gonna start self-hosting more as a result of this. This is actually worrying, and there's no way in which any of this... Oh, chat cleared. Software, I love you. Hi, hello, software, I love you. Just prompt inject their SMS, I guess. The name is Unreal Tournament Machine.